this is a kind of a wild thing to just kind of write and not have anybody check it. But nevertheless, you still said something really, really dark. This type of stuff to me proves how dark of a world we live in. I think Prince Harry like inadvertently kind of proves the Bible with this, in my opinion. You know, he proves
Ruslan.
This Prince Harry topic was very interesting. So this is Sagar from Crystal and Sagar Breaking Points.
Nobody apparently is focusing on the most insane part of his interview and of his book, where he admits and discusses killing 25 people in Afghanistan. Let's get to it.
I was able to focus on the purpose larger than myself, to be wearing the same uniform as everybody else, to feel normal for the first time in my life, and accomplish some of the biggest challenges that I ever had. In Australia, become an Apache helicopter pilot. You don't get a pass for being a prince.
The Apache doesn't give a crap about who you are.
No, there's no prince autopilot button that you can press and just takes you away. I was a really good candidate for the military. I was a young man in my 20s, suffering from shock, but I was now in the front seat of an Apache, shooting it, flying it, monitoring 4 radios simultaneously.
So I didn't even know that he served in the military. I didn't know that. But the fact that he makes this claim is wild.
Anybody that was on the ground with a radio screaming, "We need support, we need air support," that was my calling. I felt healing from that.
So let's get now to the actual excerpt from his book where he discusses killing 25 people. Let's put it up there on the screen. Our graphics team made an excellent one here. And he says, quote, "While in the heat of fog and combat, I did not think of those 25 as people. You can't kill people if you think of them as people. You can't harm people if you think of them as people. They are chess pieces removed from the board, bads taken away before they could kill goods. I'd been trained to otherize them, trained well. On some level, I recognized this learned detachment as problematic, but I also saw it as an unavoidable part of soldiering."
Wow. Wow. 25? 25? Listen, I have friends who went to prison for various lengths of time, some of them decades longer, that were involved in some similar activities. And I can tell you that anyone that's participated in anything like this, whether it's one person, are haunted for the rest of their life. That this is not something someone can do and walk away from unscathed. 25? Look, I don't know if we doing a celebrity pastor hyperbole speech here or what, but that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, man. So I don't really, when I heard this number, I was blown away that he said this. Like this is wild. I think anyone, and this is why we have so much PTSD with a lot of soldiers. Somebody said, unless you're a psychopath or sociopath, I've seen a lot of cap. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of this. Do you guys think he's exaggerating about this?
Now, he's probably right.
So an unavoidable part of soldiering. He said he's probably right about
that, Crystal, but it seems like one of those things that somebody should just really never say, especially whenever they're in a prominent position, because, as predicted, his flippant discussions here aren't just damaging the royal family, they're actually causing problems for the British Army and for Afghanistan. So put this up there. There's actually been mass anger and protest that broke out in southern Afghanistan after Prince Harry specifically talked about killing 25 people. He's even been, quote, clapped back by Taliban spokespeople who are like, our soldiers were not simply chess pieces and pawns that were on the board. And then actually in the UK, people who are in the British military are denouncing Prince Harry, saying this is not how we teach our soldiers to behave while they're in combat. This is not the way that somebody who served in combat should be speaking about it. You're not talking about it in a respectful way.
Yeah, right. You don't say, right? You don't say. I don't even know how that quote makes it through the editing process of a book. Like, who looked at that and was like, this is a good thing to say in a book, right? This is a kind of a wild thing to just kind of write and not have anybody check it and be like, yeah, you may not want to phrase that admission that way. You know?
You're actually denigrating the service that was made at the time. And actually, it belies some crazy kind of war propaganda that also happened at the time in the UK, where Prince Harry and William were like genuinely hailed as heroes. And it was one of the ways that the war effort was sold to the British public. So anyway, all of this put together. The point is that...
Also, they used his involvement as kind of like a propaganda
flippantly talking after his mushrooms trip about 25 people getting killed and all that is being totally ignored by the media.
I mean, the words here, to go back to them, are truly disturbing. You can't really harm people if you think of them as people. They were chess pieces removed from the board.
He was trying to like sound empathetic. Like, you can't really do it if you think of him as, like, he was trying to sound like fake deep, but then just kind of made a buffoon of himself saying that statement, right? Like, you can't really do that if you think of them as people. You got to think of them as other. But nevertheless, you still said something really, really dark.
bads taken away before they could kill goods. I'd been trained to otherize them trained well. And, you know, at this point, we know how many Afghan civilians, including children, were murdered during our occupation of Afghanistan. And it was, I'm sure, enabled by exactly this type of mindset and type of thinking where, you know, a lot of this would be different neighbors have a grievance and they go, oh, this one's Taliban. And the next thing you know, you're doing a night raid and killing some family on our way out, which I supported the withdrawal from Afghanistan, as did you. We advocated for it here, and then we took a lot
This was really sad, by the way.
of heat and, you know, backed Biden on it. But on their way out, in order to show their, like, tough guy credentials, they do this final drone strike on what was supposed to be this terrorist, militant, etc. Turns out it was an aid worker and his family and his young babies in the middle of a busy residential area in Kabul. So we know that this fairy tale that he's continuing to tell here about how, oh, well, I only murdered bads that were taken away before they could hurt the goods is complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah, man, that's some wild stuff. Yeah, definitely pretty dark. The way we exited Afghanistan was really bad. I don't know if you guys heard of that story when it happened, where there was a drone strike on who they thought was a terrorist, but it was really an aid worker and his family. And, what a messy way to leave that situation. And that was verified independently by our own government. Yeah, we just kind of messed up. We had bad intel and we just killed this poor innocent guy who was getting water for his family. You know, this type of stuff to me proves how dark of a world we live in. Like how dark the world really is. When you remove how cushiony and comforting we have it in America and how safe things feel here. Some of you guys don't got to lock your doors at night. You forget that there's like real issues happening across the border with the cartel regime change and how that's really affecting people. You don't really understand how dark and evil the world really is. You know, this is a really dark world. And to me, when you understand that there's evil in the world, true evil, then the opposite of that is Jesus. There's a God because clearly there's a devil. You know, like clearly there's a massive sin problem. There's a massive sin problem. There's a massive brokenness problem. I think Prince Harry like inadvertently kind of proves the Bible with this, in my opinion. You know, he proves depravity, the brokenness of humans, the fact that we are not righteous, that we are all, you know, children of wrath, according to Ephesians 2. This stuff's not cut and dry, you know? Like, this stuff's not as cut and dry as we want it to be. That for civilizations, we've had wars and famines and, you know, just being in a really, really broken world. And so I was not expecting that to come from Prince Harry, of all people. That was a wild admission.
Hey, this clip is from our daily after party stream. If you enjoyed it, consider signing up for our Patreon community for only $5 a month, where you get access to the replays of our daily after party streams, as well as the uncut extended versions of our podcast, Discord access that's private, and a discount code for our merch store, only $5 a month. And ultimately, it's the best way to help us contextualize the gospel of Jesus using media, podcasting, and of course, YouTube. The link for that is in the description or in the pinned comment. The perks are amazing. You should get on there. It's only $5 a month. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.